All right, let's go ahead and get this started. So, if you're here, um, I appreciate you. I am at least starting to fulfill a lifelong dream I've had of kind of creating a podcast. Maybe lifelong is a bit of a stretch, but I've always wanted to do something like this. Um, it's going to be equal parts video documentary as well as getting into podcasts. I have a lot of reasons and things I want to do. But I guess we should start off by introducing myself here. Um, if you don't know me, my name is Ryan. If you do know me, you know a lot about me, but probably not everything. And eventually, we're gonna get through everything. And I plan on letting a lot of things I keep inside out. But a little bit about me. I'm 38 years old. I live alone. I am the type of person that gets up in the gym every morning at 4:30, gets there at about 5, gets it done and out of the way, done with the day. At work, I work in human resources, and there's a quite a interesting journey how I got there in the first place, and eventually we'll touch that as well. But right now I work at Century Federal Credit Union, and it's a pretty awesome job. Um, I have the best friends in the world. Eventually, one of these little video documentaries, I'm going to get into a lot about them, and I look forward to doing that. But they are my family. They're a pain in my ass, and they give me a lot of shit. But um, I mean it when I say a lot of those guys I would die for without hesitation, and I look forward to talking about them someday. Um, Big into video games with said friends. I'm a huge Guardians fan. Cleveland sports in general. I do love sports. I like writing. I did recently just lose my dog, my best friend Fred, and we're going to talk about him a lot, if I'm being honest. But that's a little bit about myself for now. Don't want to give away too much content, but kind of want to give a little backstory to wanting to always do a podcast. I really want something to kind of like hold back and look at memories with friends. We all have social media and Instagram and Facebook, and they're great with memories, but I would just love to document just random conversations amongst friends that, 1 2 5 10 years down the road, you look back at and smile. And, we're not getting any younger. Um, we're just not. And that's just the basic stuff. But I think it would be awesome to have fun conversations, to talk about different takes, like sports takes and, fun stuff. And I have a little bit of a list of things I plan on doing right off the rip. I'll get into those in a second. But I just think it would be fun, especially in today's day and age where most people have children or are married. They don't have as much free time as maybe we did 5, 10 years ago. I think it would be awesome to get together for a beer and shoot the shit. And I just really want to. Losing Fred, um, and again, it's going to have its own little episode, but it kind of made me realize that in the blink of an eye, anything can change. And in a more sentimental way and reasoning, I I want to leave something behind in the event that I'm not here tomorrow. I want to leave stuff that my friends can look back on or anyone can look back on and I get my word out there. You know, could be considered depressing and maybe it is, but I might not be here tomorrow. And I have a lot to say. I think I'm a really fun person. I think I'm really cool. Um, but it's just something I've always wanted to do. So I'm just going to do it. And we're going to start small with this and we're going to keep moving forward. Um, I decided to call it Fridays with Fred, obviously to honor Fred. Um, but there's origin to that. So about 4 years ago, when I was working in human resources and Sorry, my voice is really scratchy tonight. I picked a really shitty night to start this, but I want to get it going. But about 4 years ago, when I was working in HR with NFP and Planet Fitness, in my region, I would always post a weekly update amongst 16 different clubs, 3 area directors. I would include maintenance guys, Mark. You'll hear a lot about him throughout these. Um, but I just give updates of things, whether it be in my department, things going on in NFP, big shout outs to, anyone doing anything. But then I'd always include a picture of Fred at the end of it. And I would always leave it with like a motivational quote or just a weekend little HR hurrah. But I did that for years. Every Friday, my whole region got a photo with Fred and updates. And it was called Fridays with Fred. And I can't think of a better way and a better thing to call this journey than Fridays with Fred because I can tell you right now, Fred, I'm never going to stop immortalizing him ever. And I really feel like it's perfect. But topics I really plan on doing, so I plan on starting off more documenting things, more like just me talking to you like I am now before I get into the podcast stuff. Some topics that I have planned here are I really want to get into the loss of Fred and the depression that's followed. It's something that I have been dealing with for over 100 days now, and some days are better, and some days are absolutely worse out of absolute nowhere. And I don't, I haven't really let it out. Anyone. Not to say that I don't have people that are there for me or that they wouldn't let me let it out or not be there for me to. They would, but at the same time, there's that weird, I don't know, guilt or I don't want to bother people with my shit, and I have a lot pent up, and that's going to be a very emotional topic. I can promise you right now, my camera will not be on when we do that one, um, but I really, really, really want to let a lot out with that, just to get it out of my system a little bit and to share it. Um, that one's going to suck. I'm going to be honest. There's going to be some of these that are pretty emotional. But after that, I think it's only fair that in time I follow up that depressing Fred video with an awesome Fred video about our journey together. And I definitely plan on doing that. Another video I want to talk about is just my journey with Planet Fitness in general, and you know how many people I met that became such a huge part of my life in the decade there, and the amount of amazing friends between workers and members alone, and how many different networking opportunities it created, and just how much of an impact it had on my life, and all the memories that came from it. And I think that is going to be a very fun uh, little discussion I'm going to have there. Um, I want to have a tribute to my friends. I, I give them a lot of shit all the time, and they give me a lot of shit all the time. But both parties know that we do anything for each other. And again, going back to in the event that I'm never or that I'm gone one day, I want to leave something behind and give every one of those guys a shout out with a lot of memories. And that's going to be a really, really awesome one. Um, I'm going to make one for Magoonie, the big dog. For a lot of you that know him, he was my first boy. I got, it's hard for you to see, but I got my Magoonie tattoo here, my Fred tattoo here. But he's going to get his own video. And I'm going to love doing that one. I absolutely am going to love doing that one. Um, one video is going to be based around the even numbers in the 2020 decade, 2020, 2022, and 2024, because all three of those had massive impacts in my life. And I have stories just for so much that came from those specific 3 years alone in this decade. And I much look forward to kind of recapping those and reliving those and sharing those memories. Um, Another one I'm going to talk about my growth and how you know, overly maybe immature I was, and how far I've come. I'll throw shade at myself, but I'm also giving myself flowers when I deserve it. But looking forward to talking about that. One is going to be about all the books I've written that I've never published. I'm really excited to share that because not many people have, seen too much with that or know too much about what I do there. Uh, and another one is going to be my family situation or lack thereof, we could say. Um, it's not going to be a diss track, but I'm going to get a lot off my chest and, you know, come clean about a lot of stuff there so people kind of understand me more. That's more so the documentary type stuff. But with the podcast portion that I really want to do with this amongst friends, I really want to make one of these with all my friends. Just doesn't even matter where, doesn't matter what we're doing. Just grab a beer and shoot the shit. We can talk about life events. We have these like Mount Rushmore topics we do where like, name your top four things and it'd be fun with topics with that. Um, favorite lists of favorite things, favorite movies, favorite condiments, favorite fast food, it's the most random shit. Sports, favorite sports things. We did talk about live sports takes. I want to do movie reviews. I want to do a lot of random things, honestly. And I've been documenting on Facebook for the last 7 years that I want to do this. And now's the time. Let's do it. Um, Again, this is something for me to leave behind. I don't anticipate many people watching these in real time. Uh, I think some of my friends will. Maybe certain topics, if it pertains to them, they'll click that link and watch it. But I don't expect much viewership with these at all. And that's fine because I'm not doing it for views or people to, give me attention. This is more for me. And it's my voice and my words, and I'm getting it out there. And it's a bucket list item for me. And like I said, it's something that in the event that I'm not here tomorrow, I want to leave things behind. So let's do it. Fridays with Fred. Let's get this party started.